Good morning. It's September 12, 2024. We're critiquing the news, and the article from the Cairns Post in front of us is titled Amateurs Daring Trek Before Spacewalk. It features the astronauts, civilian astronauts aboard the Crew Dragon spaceship, which is in the SpaceX Polaris Dawn mission, which, just to quote the first part of the story here, a private crew have set out on an audacious orbital expedition, journeying deeper into the cosmos than any humans in half a century, as they prepare for the first ever spacewalk by non-professional astronauts. And further, it says the SpaceX Polaris Dawn mission attained a peak altitude of 1,400 kilometres on Wednesday. Now, it also goes on to say that the spaceship will navigate through portions of the hazardous high radiation Van Allen belt. However, they're not going to do that at 1,400 kilometres of altitude. The Van Allen belts start during periods of low geomagnetic activity at about 4,500 kilometres of altitude. And generally the inner Van Allen belt is at 6,000 kilometres of altitude. But setting that aside, it's quite amazing how incurious most people and all of the media are about how Apollo 8 could travel 400,173 kilometres from Earth in 1968, and Apollo 13 could duplicate that feat in 1970, and multiple astronauts could not only traverse the high radiation zone of the Van Allen belts, but walk on the moon with less computing power than a 1990s car. But half a century later, we struggle to reach 1,400 kilometres from Earth, and only contemplate spacewalks at 690 kilometres, well inside the Van Allen radiation belt. Even if you accept the stories we were told at the time of the Apollo missions as true, which most of us did. I was in grade 2, I believe, when I saw that first spacewalk on a TV rolled into the classroom. First time I ever saw a TV in a classroom, specifically to show that to the world. Where did that technology go? Why did it disappear? Why is it being reinvented half a century later? It makes you wonder if it ever really existed, or whether it was all a show for the Cold War era Russians, which required duping and deceiving everyone on Earth.